Hello, Grumpy Old Fart here. I saw an interesting meme on Facebook, and I wanted to talk about it because there's a lot of people when I talk to them in conversations, they don't understand the concept of free. Okay, free means nobody's paying for it. That's what free means. Nobody has to put out a dime for it, right? Okay. According to the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution, you have three entitlements. You're entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's it. You're not entitled to tuition, health care, abortions, birth control, none of that stuff. You're not entitled to any of that. Okay? And if you're not entitled to it, and somebody else is providing it, and they are, because for health care, there's doctors involved, nurses. People got to get paid. People got to feed their families. Okay? If you're getting free tuition, who's paying the professors to teach the classes? Who built the school? Somebody has to pay for that stuff. Okay? And if it's free, you're not paying for it. So how are these professors and these doctors and everybody who's providing these services, how are they feeding their families? How are they getting paid? Okay? They have to feed their family. They got bills to pay, same as everybody else. Okay? When you say free, nothing is free. There's not a thing in the world that's free. Everything costs something. These doctors and these professors and stuff, they have to get paid. Otherwise, they're not going to work. And if you force them to work without paying for them, they have a word for that. It's called slavery. Forcing somebody to work and not paying them, they're slaves. Okay? And I've heard people say, well, the government can pay for it. Okay. Where does the government get its money? Now, I talked in my video on the 10th Amendment. Go back and review that one. I talked extensively on the Federal Reserve and how much of a scam that is. Quick rundown. The Federal Reserve has no money, and it's not federal, it's private. They print money, loan it to banks. The banks give the money out to whatever they got to do with it. As taxpayers, you and we have to pay that money back to the banks, who then pay it back to the Federal Reserve with interest. It's not free. It's not free money. Okay? So when the government says, I need X amount of money, they go to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve prints up the money and gives it to the banks. The banks do what they got to do with it. We have to pay that back with interest. The interest is how much money the Federal Reserve makes. It's a scam. It's all a big scam. Okay? When people say, well, the government will pay for it, the government's not paying for nothing. The government gets the Federal Reserve to print up the money, and then you and I pay for it. Okay? When's the last time you heard a politician pay for anything? If somebody says, well, it's free, the government's going to pay for it. The government ain't paying for shit. The government has no money. As a matter of fact, right now, the government's more than $20 trillion in debt. Who has to pay that back? You and I, taxpayers, the American taxpayers. And the Democrats want to keep putting more and more and more, stacking it up on top of that. Okay? That's the situation we're in right now. Right now, we're in a deep hole. That hole is $20 trillion deep. Okay? And it didn't get that way overnight. The vast majority of it got there between 2008 and 2016. During Barack Obama's thing. He spent more money than every other American president combined. He spent more money than every other world leader in history. Okay? That was a spending fool. Alright? You can add it up or look at it from this direction or that angle or whatever, but that's what happened. Okay? The man spent money. Lots of money. And a lot of that went to his buddies. So, Now that being said, when somebody says, well, the government will pay for it, the government doesn't have any money. The government makes its money through taxes. They tax the people. And who are the people? Us. We pay taxes. That's how the government gets its money. Well, the government can't afford to pay everything because it can't afford what it's doing now. So when you hear these Democrat politicians get up in there and say, well, we're going to give free tuition. We're going to forgive all the college debt. We're going to give you free health care. All that stuff. Okay? Speaking of health care, the Obamacare website was running billions of dollars. Remember, it's going to be cheaper to build Trump's border wall than it was to put up and get running the Obamacare website. Okay? That's how much money the Democrats waste. And that's a harsh way to say it, but it's the truth. They waste money. That's their whole thing, is wasting money. Okay? They don't have the concept of saving money. When they talking about free tuition, no, that's not free. We have to pay for that. We, you and I, the people out there paying taxes, we have to pay for that. When they're talking about free health care, well, you and I are footing the bill for that too. Okay? It's not free. There's nothing free. The government doesn't need money. They get their money from us. Okay? And even when they borrow money from the Federal Reserve, we have to pay that back. I'm just saying. What it boils down to is, whenever a politician, any politician says, we're going to give you this for free, just remember this. Free shit isn't free. Somebody's got to pay for it. And if nobody's paying for it, but people are still receiving those services, how are the people that are providing the services getting paid? If everything is free, these people aren't getting paid. And if you work somebody and they're not getting paid, they're slaves. Slavery is illegal in America. We actually put an amendment in the U.S. Constitution for that. Happened after the good guys made the Democrats give up their slaves. Now, we put an amendment afterwards. After we did that, we put an amendment in the U.S. Constitution saying that nobody can own slaves. So slavery is illegal. So anytime you hear these leftist politicians talking about, we're going to give you all this shit for free, right there. Nothing is free. And even if it was, the people providing those goods and services would be working as slaves. You can't have that. That's wrong. I don't care who you are. That's wrong. Okay? So, next time you hear them saying, we're going to give you free shit, nothing's free. And you know they're not going to be paying for it. It's going to be us. We're the ones paying for it. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.